Hello and welcome to SoLoDELVE tutorial part 4. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to start setting up your SoLoDELVE adventure. So we want to scroll out a little with the mouse wheel so we can see the whole map, and then we want to move over to more doors and move over to the top left hand where we can see a little pin that says the quest begins. We're going to left click that and it's going to bring up a story template. Story template requires that you click generate to generate a little story. Okay, so we close the one that we opened there, and we're going to drag this across to the chat temporarily so we can read what we have to do. This is one of the things you'll have to do frequently, is generate things and then drag them over here so they're out of the way and you can build the furniture and various things and add the features. So the instructions are to place the stairwell in room 13. So which room is 13? If we go over to more doors, zoom in, zoom out, find it, we can see that it's this little room here. So I'm going to go up to assets, I'm going to left click into this little search bar and type in fern, short for furniture, and you'll see the furniture pop up. We're going to scroll through using this arrow until we find the staircase. Now I have a round staircase, I also have a classic staircase. I like using the round one. So the stairwell will be placed against the west far wall. So I'm going to use the mouse wheel to zoom in. North, east, south and west, and that never changes. So this is west. So we're going to place this token just by holding down the left mouse button, dragging it in. Now when we're on top of the token, we can hold down Control and use the mouse wheel to make it bigger and smaller. So we want to make it about that big, and if we want to rotate it, we can hold down Shift and push the mouse wheel up or down, and we can see how that works. Okay, generally in the first room we don't use any addition because it can get very crowded, and we don't want that for our first room. And this will become clear later when I point out one of the few issues, but a considerable issue with this program. After we've placed the tile, we're going to put our characters on the stair. And if you notice, I have the numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4 here. If I take those off, Fantasy Grounds will stack these characters in alphabetical order. So in order to control the order, you just need to open up the sheet, left click on the name, and you can either remove the number or you can change it. So moving on, here are our starting doors. There's only one door in this room and it's in the northwest near wall. So you see the near and far, that indicates if there's more than one direction or one of these wall sections that the door could be on. Near would be this one because it's closest to the character. Far would be this one because it's furthest from the character. So we're going to scroll back through and we're going to find our door, and we're just going to drag it down here. We're going to hover over it with our little hand, and if you're off it, it'll be an arrow. If you're on it, it'll be a hand. It's good to know. Hold down Shift and rotate it, and then we're going to hold down the left mouse button, pick it up and drop it there. And now we have a door. So northwest is actually over here, so I'm going to pick it up and that's where I'm going to drop it. So the next thing we were going to do is we're going to roll for movement, but we'll get to that. Let's say the dwarf has already rolled and he wants to enter this room here through this door. All you need to do is left click on the door, temporarily move it out of the way, and then hover over this pin and click on it. Now this will bring up a story generator for a 4x4 square size room. It will tell you which room to look for, how many doors it has and where they are, if there's an encounter in this room, and if there is an encounter, where the monsters should be placed in this room. So we have room tile L. I'm going to go over to our assets and I'm going to type in 4x4 L. Press enter and up it comes. So we're going to hold down the left mouse button and drag it onto the center of the pin. Hold down Control and scroll up on our mouse wheel to make the room bigger. Now we can finally adjust where that goes by holding down the left mouse button again and just moving it around. So now we have a good sized room. Now there's a door here, but the dwarf can't get in because there's a chair. Now when that happens, you want to use a little creative license and you want to rotate the token clockwise by holding Shift and scrolling up on your mouse wheel until that door is free. If for some reason the door cannot find a free space the way the room is laid out, I suggest moving the door. It's not a huge imposition and it doesn't do much to change the tactics. Okay, the second thing we do is click back on assets and type in fern. And this gives us our doors where we go find an open one, hold down Shift and then stick it back there where the dwarf is. And then we're going to read through the instructions here and we're going to work out if there are any more doors. So none in the north, east or south, but there is one in the west. Where is it? It's at the bottom. So we can use our old door and this is the west. This is technically southwest. Different rooms are going to have a different amount of norths and souths, but they generally have one of each. Here we have the bottom west. This would be the upper west. Now, we have an encounter. We have encounter 94. So we go over to our encounters. We type in 94. If you want to see all the encounters, you just delete the number and it will bring them all back up. So encounter 94 is a skeleton. So we're going to close the encounter window here. I'm going to move this room description over here temporarily. We don't want to close it yet because we still need it. And we're going to drag the pen into anywhere on here is fine. Anywhere that there is text, and let go. And as we can see, skeleton has been added to the room. Now we don't need this, we can close that, but we want to find out where in the room the skeleton needs to go. And that is part of reducing gamer bias, where let's say you open it with the wizard, you don't want the skeleton to be there, so you place it here or you place it here. Either unconsciously or deliberately, you try to place them in such a way that it weights the game in your favor, and SoLoDELVE helps you to avoid that. So the first NPC, or the only NPC here, is on square 6. So if we need help working out which square that is, we have more specific doors. And we can zoom in, click this pin, and it will bring up a little diagram of all of the types of rooms and their sizes. We can find 4x4 and scroll in, and we can see that left to right it's been numbered. Now as you get more familiar with it, you'll work out exactly where these are, but for a beginner it can be handy, and when you have a larger room and a lot of monsters to place, it's a good shortcut. So our skeleton goes on square 6. We can close that now, and That's 4, 5, 6. Now he can't go on the furniture, so he's going to go to the next closest square. And there we have it. There's our skeleton. So we can close more doors. If you want to pin it, you can drag it down here onto one of these hotkeys, and then you don't have to come back here through the more doors proper. You can just click it here and it will come up. Okay, so that's how we do our rooms. Thanks for watching.